class today. So we're gonna play a little game to figure out what we'll be talking about today. So what three things, or I mean what one thing, do these three pictures have in common? So you have
Nature.
a tree. Okay, nature's a good one. And there's dirt. Yeah,
Green.
they are all green. Yes. So where does a tree come from?
Nature.
Nature as in
Outside.
okay.
Earth.
Okay.
That's better.
And then what about dirt? Where does dirt come from?
Earth. The ground.
And our food, like a salad?
Earth. The ground.
You're right, earth. They all have earth in common. Or nature. Okay, what about these three? So you have a rock climber, a waterfall, and a kitchen counter. With
Rocks.
flowers. Yes. Good, so, and earth also has that in common. So, as you have learned, we will be talking about rocks.
So creepy.
I saw this picture and I thought it was very entertaining with human teeth. So there's actually three different types of rocks. There's igneous, sedimentary, and metamorphic. And then within each of these categories, there are more. So the first one is igneous rocks. They are often called fire rocks. And they're called fire rocks because they are made from magma. Do you guys know what magma is? Lava, yeah. So it's molten rock, which is melted because of the high temperatures within the Earth's crust. And it comes out onto the outside of Earth through a volcano. And it's very hot, as you can see in the picture. And then when magma cools down, it comes into these kind of little minerals that our eye can't even see. And once the size increases and it builds up, then it compacts. That is what the igneous rock is. So it's actually not a rock until it cools down, it hardens, and it's actually big enough for our eye to see. If it's below the earth, then the magma is trapped, and so that's why it's caused to cool down. And then, like we saw in the last picture, the volcano made the magma come out, and that's what cools, and then it becomes a rock. So these are some examples. We have granite, as you can see, and I'm sure many people you guys are familiar with granite. And then there's obsidian, which is a shiny, smooth surface, and then pumice. And then, let's see.
That's what you use when you get pedicures. Really?
You're right.
Stones.
And then, do you guys have any of these in your home?
Kitchen counters.
Or maybe not here, but previous homes. Yeah, kitchen counters.
Yeah.
And like you said, the pedicures, which probably not many guys would have connected that. So pedicures are used. The second one is sedimentary rocks. So the root word in sedimentary is sedimentation, which is, by definition, matter that settles at the bottom of a body of water. So wind and water break down the earth into many fine little particles. And then when it comes to either it's pushed or it settles on the ground, they come in layers and they form into a mass. And then once it is either time or pressure, then it's broken up into rocks. So it's all these layers, and you can see in the little visual that there's the rain coming down on the mountains, and then the sedimentary rock is forming a layer. So yeah, and the wind and water is actually really strong, and I don't know if you guys know that, but it breaks down a lot of the materials. And then, let's see the next pictures. So these are examples. There's sandstone, and then there's gypsum, and there's limestone. So, do you guys know either of these or have any examples that you know of? So I've been rock climbing, and limestone is actually kind of more of a slippery rock, and when it gets wet, it's really hard to grip. So rock climbers know a lot of their rocks because they need to know when it's safe to climb on and when it's not, because water affects it. And then the third rock is metamorphic. And so it's actually rocks that have changed. So they include igneous and sedimentary, and it's the combination of both of them. The pressure and the heat changes the rocks. So you might have an igneous rock, and then it somehow makes it to water, and then the water breaks it down and combines with the sedimentary rock, and it forms into one rock together. And then, so in the visual, you can see the water and the actual combination of the rain and then the heat from the crust. So, now, here are some examples. So you can see in the stripes over here, it's the different combinations. And then this is the sixth rock, and it has the speckled looks. So metamorphic rock is a little bit more rougher than all the other ones. And then let's see.
So those ones are the other two combined?
Yes.
Because that one kind of looks like granite a little bit.
Yeah, so it probably has some granite mixed in it, and then it got melted down and added with the other
Type of rock.
So, as we've discussed, there's multiple other, let's go to the other PowerPoint. So, as we've discussed, rocks have been used for many different things, and they're actually really old. So this is the Hoover Dam, and you can see that as there's rocks around it, that's also what the Hoover Dam is actually made out of. So, do you guys know what these are? Have been taught in your history class about any of them? They're the rock formations of the Indians, and they're rock dwellers. So they're actually homes made out of rocks. So even in the ancient times, they would use it as their homes. And they're actually sort of like cavemen. It's like high class. So these are a picture of bowls and other little weapons that are actually made out of rocks. And they're formed by either pressure from another rock and being rubbed down, and then it also makes it smooth by the constant rubbing and them using it. Do you guys know this picture?
Yes.
It's pretty famous.
Yes, sounds like really well. I know they're very well.
So, do you know what rock this building is made out of? What is it?
Granite.
Yes. So even in the foundation that we can't see, it's multiple layers of granite, which is really strong. So it's actually also important to know what rock is stronger than the other for architects or engineers, so then they know what to build on. So this is a really good rock picture. What about this one?
Not Rushmore.
Yes. So there's also, I'm amazed by the people that carve rock because it's
Rock.
it's rock. And so this took many years, and it's still around today because rock is so strong and it can uphold many different things, and you can actually go in and walk around and stuff and see it. And then these are similar to the ones that we just saw, which are the rock formations in this side of the wall. So this one actually shows some of the gradients in the rock, and these are weapons that are ancient ancestors would have used for either hunting and other animals. And so yeah, you can see the veins in the rocks and the sharpness. They made it sharp so then they can hunt with it. And then let's see. So a little review. Igneous rock is, what does this remind you of?
Lava?
So igneous
Fire
rock is a
rocks?
fire rock to remember. And then sedimentary rock, it has what? And it's formed by,
Water
yeah.
and layers.
Mhm. So the water makes it so it's getting pushed by and smoothing it out, and then breaking it apart also into different sized rocks. And then metamorphic rock is,
Both of them.
yeah. And do you know why it's metamorphic, the name? Because it has the combination and it's been morphed. I don't know if you guys have read books where the characters morph into the animals.
Incredibles.
Yeah. So that's where it gets its name. So, and then we can actually also use it in our homes, and actually scientists use rocks to know how old things have been around. They can take it and separate it into little particles and find what it's been used for and how old that thing has been. So like the house dwellings that we saw, they know roughly how old those were, and the process that the rock was put through. And the rocks also, just like in the caveman era, how they painted on the rocks, rocks have also can show what the culture was like at that time. Even if it's been broken down, they can, if there is in a different area of the world, they can connect it back to where it originally was. Like metamorphic rocks, they can separate it, and so the scientists actually sort of become historians because they connect it to history. So, do you guys have any questions? Yes.
Is the Grand Canyon sedimentary?
Yes, it is. Because the water went through the Grand Canyon at one point and pushed the rocks away to make the rock formations. Yes.
So does that mean like coral and reefs are rocks, or
So they're similar, but they aren't actually, because as you can look at it's only similar to sedimentary because the water pushes it and forms it, but it's not actually particles that are similar to the earth.
Okay.
Yes.
Hawaii, would that be, what kind of rock is Hawaii made out of, like igneous or sedimentary?
Igneous. And on the Big Island, I don't know if you guys have been there, but they have igneous rock everywhere because of the volcano that's there. And half my family has actually been there, and they have beaches where it's just igneous rock and it's black, and the rock has little holes in it from having it be the melted lava. So, any other questions? So rocks are great tools, and knowing what they are made of helps us know what we can use them for, and how we can connect them to our past. In the next class, we will discuss other rocks within the categories, and you can actually feel them and see them.